Equal again, looking at these developments across the counties, you look at what has been allocated before in the 6 financial years since 2013, and there has been perhaps cases of reports detailed or penned by the Auditor General and the Controller of National Budget regarding the conduct of the governors with regards to managing that amount of money at their respective county economies. And what interestingly stands out or is unique in that regard is the fact that the counties have in large capacity failed to institute its capacity when it comes to revenue collection to boost the county economies at the county level. And that has created sort of dependency, total dependency on the national government. While we appreciate that we are at the embryonic stage of the devolved units, can there be perhaps a case scenario where we're going to be seeing our county governments coming up with policies and measures to ensure that they do collect enough at the county level to create some sense of springboard economically to support themselves instead of such scenarios where we are seeing total dependence on the national government and then this decry that the national government is hampering cash flow to the counties?
Actually, you're bringing in a very good point that the public needs to understand about the revenue collection. Because our counties, especially, let's say our governors, because it's not the counties, the county entails we, the people,
very many
voters.
People.
Yeah. So the governors are driving a narrative that they don't have money, they are not being supported by the national government. But we need to stop this over-dependency issue. Because some counties are even collecting 17 billion per year. They are not accounting for this 17 billion.
17
Where
billion.
does it go?
Meaning 17 billion can run Nairobi County for one financial year?
Yeah, that is very true. Actually, in my county is being given 6 billion. So it means 17 billion can take it like 2-3 years.
That is about 3 financial years.
3 financial years. So you realize that I even suggest that the members of parliament, they should not add counties any more amount until these amounts that they have been given should be accounted for. The revenues that are being collected should be accounted for in a transparent manner. And again, as my brother said, most of this amount go to the recurrent expenditure. Why should the country bother sending money that goes to salaries? If these governors are constructive enough, they should be using the small amounts that they are being given to generate other money, like the way Makueni governor is doing. Yeah. You create a factory, this factory will create more employment, and other than the employment that the factory is creating, it's also bringing in some revenues, and this revenue can be used to create roads and develop the county. Now, you realize a county like mine in Nyamira, we are so unfortunate that the governor doesn't think outside the box. He just wants the money that comes direct from the national government, used it to pay salaries of which he has even employed a lot of people who do nothing. Today you go sorry?
Advisors and what some call slaves.
Yes. You realize that there are very useless positions in the counties where people are being paid without doing any job. For instance, the deputy governors who are earning, and the money is coming from the national government. These people, you've seen the way Nairobi County is being run without a deputy governor, and it's running smoothly. Constitutionally, yes, it's there that we need to have a deputy governor. Okay. But experimentally, we've seen that counties can run very well without deputy governors. So we are paying these people money that is not, I mean, I could term it, for lack of a better word, that is useless. All right. We have counties that even have deputy county secretaries. For what? I mean, we're just creating positions to reward a few, yet the common mwananchi down there, the boda guy, the mamamboga guy, people, they are suffering. Right. So I think this also takes us back that we need to look at our constitution and reframe it in a manner that will benefit the common person than the leaders.
All right.
Frederick, maybe I just chip in. Okay. The constitution is fine, the way it is. We do not have a problem with this constitution. The problem in this country is the implementation and interpretation of the constitution as it is. one of the things that as a country we need to look at is to audit who are these people at the county government. What is the staff structure of government such that since we passed the 2010 constitution, we've never really audited which personnel is in these counties, you know, and a preview of some of these things shows that a lot of devolved functions have not been devolved by the national government.
All right.
And number two, so many, in fact, 60% of the staff members that are actually gobbling up all the monies that are sent to county are national government people, you know. So it helps drive the narrative that counties are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Yet counties are in a positions where the people who are actually mopping a lot of their monies are not supposed to be working there in the first place, because we passed the 2010 constitution, meaning that some functions that were supposed to be devolved haven't been devolved. But we have people who are gobbling up money, you know, and they're not supposed to be in the places they're supposed to be in. So the constitution, as the way the framers of it, the framers put it, is fine. And that's one of the things I want to drive to our viewers today. The problem is, can we really implement this thing the way we envisioned it, so that we do not have to be pointing at the constitution as the problem and missing the fact that the constitution cannot implement itself.
It needs people to implement it.
It needs people to implement it. And the voters themselves. If a governor cannot come up with ways of raising more money, you know, the constitution cannot address that. It is the people on the ground to sit down during elections and say, we have candidate A, we have candidate B, we have candidate C.
Okay.
Who among these people has an agenda for us that can drive our counties forward? And even if you go to the MCA level, the constitution gives the people the mandate to actually elect someone who, you know, has ideas, isn't it?
All
so
right.
that when they go to the assembly, they can actually generate bills and that can drive your county forward.
At the county level.
Exactly. We cannot start driving that narrative which you are driving, that the constitution is imperfect, is a wrong narrative. And we need to be very careful with it, because it's actually falling into the trap of politicians that is being, that right now we are pursuing the whole idea that, you know, we need to change the constitution because this and that. Everybody's just running around and saying we change this. But the problem is not there. The problem is in ourselves, isn't it? That's my opinion. You know?
All right.
Just a minute.
Okay,
you know,
before I go to Dan, okay.
You know, the constitution is not a Bible. It's prone to mistakes.
And subject to amendment.
The only books that we cannot criticize or correct is the Quran and the Bible. But this constitution sitting here, from where I sit, it has a lot of faults that needs to be corrected, and the major fault is over-representation.
Okay, and that is part of the proposal made by Third Way Alliance Party of Kenya's Dr. Ekuru Aukot. Dan, and then coming to you in that regard, and I just want us to take a look at the case of double-edged sword here for the counties. One, the county governors have failed, if you look at the reports by the Auditor General and the Controller of National Budget. And yesterday they were accompanied by members of the county assemblies across the 47 counties. They are equally accused of pilfering resources at the county level, amounting to hundreds of millions in foreign trips, and there has been nothing substantial in terms of the trickling down effect to help the common monarchy. And the vision of the constitution was to lessen the proximity of power from the capital Nairobi at the ward level, so that people can listen, the ward representatives can listen to their electorate, and who in turn help them make laws at the county level. Are the governors now shifting the blame from their shoulders and piling upon or throwing the ball onto the national government? And how will that further fracture the already ailing economies at the county level? Perhaps a case of the 1960 might play out, in which the government wholly sabotaged the Majimboism just after independence, and that again was the kick-starting point of our contemporary problems in Kenya.
Well, I think the constitution, like Fred was saying, envisioned that there was going to be a problem like the one that we are having, where, and I said this before in my opening remarks, that you realize the national government would at any time would want to interfere with the functions and running of the counties. So at that level, the Constitution obligated these two governments to work in tandem and in consultation with one another. Well, that is not possible, and that is why we have the laws. That is why we have the guidelines. And you see, one of the proposals that you are asking, and I also like to join my colleague here, that there is a lot of, the gaps within this constitution that I personally think should be, should be amended, not to create other positions, but to, try to tighten oversight. And you
if Marenda will be here, he will tell you that.
Try to, to tighten matters of oversight and representation. While I also feel that the role of representation, if you could see the budget that lying in the shoulders of Common Maniji as he funds matters of representation, the members of County Assembly, who also have a personal assistance, who has people, is secretary in the office.
Two bodyguards, a driver.
Two bodyguards, a sweeper.
A driver.
And a driver. That is just one member of County Assembly. We are having 1,450 members of County Assembly in the nation. Come to the Member of Parliament, also the same. Come to the Senator, also the same. Come to Women Representative, also the same. So you realize that there is a badge that the citizen is actually struggling to be represented. Yet representation is as equal as nil as we speak. So my proposal, very radical proposal, but do away with the Senate. Reduce the number of members of County Assembly. If in fact, my proposal is to go the third way, Alan's way, that could we have regional blocks within the County Assembly being the points of governance?
Okay.
Because we are struggling with, with unnecessary badge when matters of representation are concerned. This is my proposal, that as much as we are looking for matters of inclusivity when we are electing members who are representing us, I think 349 as envisioned in the Constitution is just okay. We can leave members of National Parliament, but give them resources enough to represent the people. Other than having a number of people representing us, wasting resources, but representation is as equal as nil.
Okay, do you mean then that the resources allocated under the KITI, the National Government Constituency Development Fund, is not enough?
Well, it's enough, but then it's even over enough. And this is why there is a badge of asking for more. Now, while on the other flip side, I really want to tell you something, that look at the matter that is in contention. It is, people are contending for an additional of 4 billion. This is the conflict that is within, between the National Assembly and the Senate. On the other side, the members of the National Assembly who are frustrating the Senate are equally have increased the Constituency Development Fund, the CDF. So I think there is a double standard. While we are complaining about, trying to sabotage the Senate, why would the members of the National Assembly increase the amount that is allocated for CDF? So I think it's equally unfair, and we are staring at a supremacy battle that is going to hurt the service delivery at the county level.